Welcome to the BFD show, hosted by Leslie Jespersen.
Welcome back to BFD. I'm your host, Leslie Jespersen, and I am here today with my friend, my energy worker. I never know what to call you, but we're going to learn a lot about that today. Holly Starr Allen, welcome to the BFD show. I'm so excited for everybody to get to know you the way I have gotten to know you. And I want to dive right in to something we were talking about the other night.
Okay.
Again, with what do we call you? Because the work that you do is so big. And you brought up the word architect in a way. So talk about your work.
Okay.
With using the architect analogy.
Absolutely. And first of all, thank you so much. I'm such a big fan of BFD. So this is so great to be here. The architect is what we all are. We're the architect of our business. We're the architect of our kids, our family. We're the architect of everything. But I think sometimes we forget to build ourselves and make sure our foundation is locked in. And that's the energy of who we are. That's the identity of who we are. That's the capacity of who we are. And it's like, we're right next to New York, right? So the Empire State Building. Can you imagine the foundation being like a dime? And you're like, I want to build an empire. Okay, cool. Well, you've got to have an empire foundation.
Yeah, I love that. So you are really using a lot of different modalities that come together in the work that you do. So talk to me a little bit more, because I know you really work with human design.
Yes.
And then you also literally clear energetic timelines. So talk to me about all the different things that you use when you're working with somebody.
Right. And so I'll use the architecture analogy you started us with, because that's perfect. And when we think about a blueprint, you have the plumbing, you have the electric, you have everything on this one blueprint. And so those are kind of the modalities, right? We've got the astrology, we've got the human design, because we have to think about the whole building, the whole person, the soul, the human, the energy, the levels, like an elevator, because we're not supposed to be one size fits all, and we're not supposed to remain constantly the same, except for our foundation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so I actually had to trademark my own healing modality, because everybody's like, well, what did you just do? And I'm like, oh, energy healing. They're like, yeah, that was beyond energy healing. And it is, because I do bring, I always say I play in all the dimensions. So when I'm going through your energy, I'm finding the timeline that's connected to it. And that could be this lifetime. It could be a future timeline. It could be a past timeline. Right. And so I can't just use one thing, because you're multidimensional.
Right.
So I have to use multiple tools to integrate them, to travel the different energy lines. Does that make sense?
And I'll never forget when you did that with me and were telling me about my biological grandfather being a Puritan or something. I was like,
yeah. Oh my gosh.
My dad's adopted. We don't even know this.
And I love that you bring this up, because sometimes there's a part of vulnerability that I don't think people realize, because when I see your energy, I see your heritage, I see your lineage. And this is so helpful, because I remember the first time I started wait, why is this coming up? This doesn't resonate with my family or my past or my history in any way. This is so off, But when I started going to my own energetic timeline, I'm like, oh, there it is. There it is. And when I cleared that, and this was a beggar, and this was being abused on the street for money. Every time I would ask for money, I would be abused for money. So money and I had a very unsettling relationship for a really long time.
Wow.
But when I went back and I cleared that segment
of your lineage.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's what you were working with me on. And now you're helping. So you're a speaker school student. We've worked together one-on-one to prepare you for the stage on different keynotes. And you're a certified keynote speaker. And you're also helping our students with the next level visibility. So talk to me a little bit about what happens when we try to be more visible. Because I don't think people understand. They're like, I want the stages. I want the media. I want to be named in lights. I want to be famous. I want to be. Holly, by the way, is who helped me come up with the everyday celebrity brand.
That was
She
so
channeled
fun.
that. But we want all of this.
Yes.
But if we are not, if our vessel, if our
The foundation.
right. If the foundation is not properly secure, you're never going to get to where you're trying to get. And you're going to, as you call it in one of your talks, like you're going to hit that vibrational ceiling. So let's dive into specifically. So the show is called BFD for Big Fucking Deal.
Absolutely.
So if
got chills.
I know that I'm a BFD in my soul.
Yes.
I feel that. I know that this is my soul's mission. And also human design and astrology say that that's literally my soul's blueprint.
Yes.
However,
You're human.
I'm my human.
Yes.
So let's talk about what is required energetically to become a big fucking deal.
I love this question. And I'm like, yes, I know. This is how I am too, feeling like into this. Because I'm like, we could do like a whole series about this, honestly. And
Holly's show is going to be hosted by BFD TV. I just feel it.
Yes, exactly. So this is where we have levels of visibility, right? And we have levels in our life of identity, right? I'm single, I'm a mom, I'm married, whatever your timeline looks like. And when we think about the BFD, you have to be comfortable being that version of yourself. And so like you said, visibility. Yes, I want to be seen everywhere. I want to be seen on all the billboards. I want to be seen on all the magazine covers. But yet then you get the invitation and you're like, not yet. I don't know.
That's part of my keynote. Yes.
Oh, great.
We say we want all of this, but when the opportunities come, we self-sabotage.
The energy contracts.
And we don't know why we're self-sabotaging.
You're not open to receiving. So this is where I love this question, because I have a very strong conviction on visibility is not to be seen. Visibility, I see your face. I love this. Visibility is to be truly authentic and vulnerable. And that is being witnessed.
Interesting.
Because being seen, like you can see people walking down the street. You can see people passing in your car. We see people online all the time.
Right.
They're highlight reel.
Yeah.
They're very posh outfit. The way they chose for the world to present, see themselves. But when you think about being visible,
right. That means
that's like getting out of the shower with your towel on and you're like, oh, I didn't know you were here.
Right. And I love talking about the balance of having that vulnerability and holding your authority, because I'm a firm believer and an advocate for, yes, be vulnerable, be transparent. And that doesn't mean if you are a salesperson getting on your Instagram stories and saying, I really don't feel like selling today because no, that's like, you can talk about your struggle after you've gotten through it. Which may conflict a little bit with your belief.
It's not. It doesn't at all. And this is something, oh gosh, if you don't take anything away from this podcast, is we've been told, so as a child, we're like, show up, do the thing. We're told what to do, right? Then we go into school, do the thing, color inside the lines. Then we go to employment, be this employee, show up this way, listening. And we forget our own inner authority. But then we also are looking for validation, because this is how we get promoted to the next grade, get promoted to the next role. But we forget how sacred we are. Like we forget how everybody's not supposed to know everything about you. You should have an inner circle. That may be one person. That may be 3 people. Yeah. And then you have your next circle and then your next circle. And this is the vulnerability. This is a true visibility, because there are people in my life that have seen me without my towel, so to speak, and there are people who have not seen anything but the stage Holly.
Yes.
Both of those are true, but not everybody gets access to them.
Yes.
And that's a scale where I see the visibility scale really fluctuate, because you can I'm so authentic. I think this, both of us are, right? Like you get what you get. Like we are who we are. We may be glammed up or we may be homeless, depending on what version you see on what day. But our heart is genuine to that point. But I'm not going to tell you my grandfather just died.
Right.
I'm not going to tell, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
But I feel like as a culture, we have forgotten that we have the choice to decide what we share.
this was something that you helped me through and in the process of writing my book, because I wrote a chapter and I was like, I couldn't write for 2 weeks because I was like, that was so scary for me to write. And this is not for the masses. Like, there's actually a deeper level of vulnerability when you're writing a book than speaking on stage. Because when I'm speaking on stage, I know there's a finite number of years. It's controlled. Once my book is published, who the fuck knows?
That's the circle though, right? You feel
Right.
safe to share this vulnerability in this circle.
But you told me, Leslie, so don't put it in there. So
You're not
don't
part of that
like
circle.
They don't. And then you were like, so just, you can write another book 10 years from now and put that in there. And I was like, I needed that permission to know that, like, it doesn't mean that I'm not being vulnerable or not giving my all to this book. If there are some stories that are just for me.
I love that you say this, because at what point do we reclaim our self-dignity instead of the validation of the world?
Yeah.
And still being sovereign on that foundation. And this is where, like, I always say, I wish I could project the visions I get in my head because they're so freaking phenomenal. But I almost see it like you're flying like Peter Pan, right? And you're just coasting and you're going this way and that way with the energy and you're reaching for that next thing, which is great because you're growing. But if you don't know how to land, you got to come back.
Yeah.
Like, you've got to land and then springboard again, and then land and come springboard again. That's the foundation of each of your edges for your identity and your energetics.
So for going back to the visibility of being on stages, of being like, what happens when we think we want it and then suddenly it doesn't feel safe and suddenly we're freaking out over the smallest things, or we're just sabotaging, or they're not going well, and it's because I know that you can go off on this, so I'm like dancing around.
I know,
the
I'm sitting here
topic with
pulling
you.
pulling it back to the one thing.
It is a frequency match that has to be obtained. Is that what it is?
Okay, let me filter this. Yes, because this is like a Venn diagram and a freaking kaleidoscope of things. And this is why I'm focused on the energy, the capacity, the human, and the soul, right? But if we're just looking at the simplified version of visibility, you have to understand the intention behind it for the soul. But then you have to allow your human to grow through it. We just had one of your beautiful students grow through it on stage.
Yeah.
How many times do you feel a feeling and then say, not now? And you swallow
all the
it
time.
And you bury it and you put it back into Pandora's box.
All the time, because I don't have time for this right now.
You just stopped your visibility scale because you weren't visible to yourself. You said, no, not now.
Ugh. And that's, I think, what you've helped me through so much, because as like, I have safety in my relationship, in my household now, but as a single mom for so long, like, I didn't have, there's no time for me to crumble or for me to feel vulnerable. Like, shit had to get done.
Right.
I'm building a business. I was starting a brand new media company with a 4-year-old and a 9-year-old. And like managing crazy ass comedians and male strip shows. Like,
Now that's a comedy.
I can't imagine why. I don't know why cameras were not following me around back then. But like, I can't imagine why it was so hard, because I never stopped. And that's why when I call it my second rock bottom, like during the pandemic, when all of my work was taken away from me, the only identity I had ever built, and then I had this man with a stable job.
Yes.
So I had like the literal safety that my energy body had not experienced before. And I just was a fucking puddle of a human for months. Like, it was my dog dying that actually triggered like this. Dun, 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 dun. Yes. But it was because, not saying that like my dog dying was not a traumatic event, but like it was that happening that allowed me to finally go through and process all of that. And now I'm looking at where I'm at now in 2026 and all the things that I was trying to do in 2019 that just weren't happening. Yes. If anybody here was watching my TV show in the beginning, and like I tried to do all this in 2019, but I had never allowed
the process to happen.
The process. Mic drop.
We got there. We
Mic
got
drop.
there. We're landing the plane.
Mic drop. Boom. Exactly. The process. As humans, we are so blessed with the conveniences that we have. Instant this, instant that, make it happen. Boom. As a management, as an action taker, as an ambitious person, we can make shit happen. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not the problem. The problem is allowing the process, being the puddle on the ground. You want me to tell you why it was your dog that triggered it?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
This is my show. I can't cry on it. See, I'm not going to make you cry.
Here's me stopping
Your makeup
the
is
process.
perfect. But this is also you having self-dignity to choose what part of the world you want to share.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'll say it on a very high level.
Okay.
We can talk about the details later. Off screen. And the sacred circle.
Yes.
Dogs hold emotions and they transmute. They have very high frequencies.
Yes.
This is why all of a sudden your dog gets ill and you're like, what? But if you look at the family timeline, something crazy has happened energetically, emotionally, right?
Sure. That dog was through all of it.
And that timeline was ready to close.
Uh-huh.
So the dog took it out with it
Oh.
in a beautiful way. Yes.
Yeah.
And the human built this in the ninja course. You know how I love my ninja courses of life, because that was normal. You can have emotions about a dog passing. That process is a safe process. Everybody would celebrate you mourning your beautiful dog.
Why am I crying over something that happened 10 years ago?
Right. But a dog dying today,
Yeah.
that's acceptable.
Yeah.
And the human says, "Bleh," and melts.
Something else, I'm pivoting this conversation right now.
Okay.
Something else that you said actually yesterday during stage rehearsals, and I was like, well, this is the name of your talk. This is the name of your book. This is like, you said, we're not called human doings. We're called human beings.
I'm trying not to let out a big sigh here because I'm like, yes, dang it.
Yes, no, but it's important. Like, we don't know how to just be.
We don't allow ourselves to just be.
We know how to do it. We don't allow ourselves. Is that what you're
It's
saying?
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I challenge everybody right now, hit pause right now
Oh,
and just see how long you can sit still. Just close your eyes and sit still. Turn the timer on and then stop it. I bet you won't get to 15 seconds.
oh yeah.
Do you know why? Self-abandonment processes and patterns. Because when it gets uncomfortable, we go on to the next thing that gives us the next high.
Yeah.
A new relationship, a new business, a new launch, a new goal, whatever that is. And so be with yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the most beautiful experience, but we haven't. It's like meeting a first date. First dates are weird, right? Like they're exciting and weird. You're like, I don't know. Should I wear this? Should I not? How am I
I missed that
sitting?
excitement a little bit. I'm not going to lie.
But in the meantime, it was a little off-putting because you had no
Right.
idea what you're going to.
Right.
But now that you're with your beautiful husband, you're yourself all out. He's the inner circle, right? Yes.
Lucky him.
Yes. Because you've built that relationship.
Yeah.
But again, we were trained not to build a relationship with ourselves. We were trained to build relationships with validation.
Yeah. Okay. So you are just a wealth of knowledge, of experience, of modalities, your TruSolHeart healing method.
Yes.
How, if people are watching this and they're like, okay, I think I need this. I still don't understand what it is, but that's okay. They don't need to. What does it look like to work with you?
I would say start following me on the socials, but I'm happy to do one-on-ones too. But I do think that sometimes it takes a minute to understand. It's acclimating the human to the experience. But you knew in your body, because you had already acclimated your human through your process and you wanted to go to that next level. You're like, I'm ready for it, but it's just not happening. So that's where let's dive into a one-on-one, because I'm going to tap into your energy work and we're going to see what the timeline says. And then we're going to see where the kinks are. Because that's my favorite, is unkinking your energetic timelines, because your identity feels safe,
Right.
to step into that being.
And
instead of
since
doing.
working with you, we've been working one-on-one together for a little over 3 months-ish. And maybe a little bit longer. We did like a couple different experiences together. The warp speed, it feels like, that my career and my identity has, and I'm sure you've kind of like seen it in me, but like the support that you offer, because my human do be doing the most sometimes. And I'm like in the green room and I'm like, Holly, I hope you have your phone on you right now because I'm having a moment. What is happening in my timeline and my soul? Like what is, so that's like that high level. But I did a lot of the other things first before
you believed in yourself.
Oh yeah, I did.
You trusted yourself and you took some big, bold moves.
Sure
to
did.
stretch yourself.
We're sitting here in one of those big, bold moves right now.
Of course, BFD.
Yes. Yes.
But I feel like this is where the Ninja Course invites us.
Yes. And something you taught me was like, look for 3 signs.
Yes.
So
that's
like
as a management too.
This show, all of the things that you are watching, I was like Q3, Q4 later. But because I was trying to like, Leslie, you're a manager and you're going to be like, bing, 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 do all the things. But people kept coming to me.
Yes.
And I'm like, now is the time.
Yes.
Just because I said this, it wasn't, even though I'm a sacral authority, like it wasn't just like a shoot from the hip decision.
No.
I have so much experience. I know what I want. I know what I don't want. And
because you're in your foundation.
Yeah. Because over the last 6-7 years, I built that foundation.
So I want to go back to something you said earlier about you tried in 2019 to do this. You didn't have your brand of everyday celebrity then.
No.
You didn't even have BFD
literally only
then.
a year old. BFD is like 6 months old.
Right. So the process, like so many people get mad that it's not happening right now. Can you imagine if you would have launched it without the energy behind this big, massive, energetic timeline for these brands?
Right. Because right now it's very intuitive, where before the show was called Volume Up because I just wanted to be heard. I wanted someone to fucking listen to me. So I was like, I'm going to turn the volume up real loud and you're not going to, like, that was like the journey with like the pink hair, like that process that I have to go through to be comfortable going back to my natural hair color and know that like I don't have to have purple or pink hair in order to be seen or heard.
Can I point out something real quick?
Sure.
I love that you're wearing a pink leather jacket right now versus being heard was your pink hair.
Yeah.
Because you know what this tells me? It's embodied and you get to put on whatever color you want because it's your choice now.
Right. The pink is now to pop against the dark.
But it's external. It's not.
Right. Not because I need someone to pay attention to me.
You're choosing, going back to that visibility.
Yeah.
You're choosing, see me now. You're not getting access.
Yeah. And that is the work that you do.
Safety.
Yeah.
Landing in that foundation.
Yeah.
And then having so much connection. I was talking to someone the other day about awareness. Awareness is huge and you should absolutely have awareness. And it starts with external awareness first. But when you begin with the internal awareness, where you can feel the squirreliness, like you said, I'm in the green room. My human is doing some things. You had to have that awareness, right? You had the external awareness at the beginning of the journey. Now you have the internal awareness. That's where the warp speed comes from. Because you're dialed in.
Yeah.
You can feel the notches.
And that's what you do for people who need visibility and for event hosts. That's all. We're going to do a whole nother episode because we're going to wrap up here. But like, I do think you're going to have your own show on this network. Okay. And
say less.
Yeah. And I think we'll do another episode on like why the work that you do is so important for people who are hosting events and people who are speaking. And that is why you are a part of the speaker school.
Yes.
And so thank you for just giving like a very warp speed overview of the work that you do and just kind of, us chatting about like our work together.
I am just so touched and honored. And it has been such a beautiful ride together and just watching you warp speed, like Big fucking deal. Like, this is how we do it. This is the only way we do it. But this is the difference between power versus force. You forced it before and your human was like, stop self-abandoning me. I'm not doing this anymore. This is awful. To that inner power that's like, oh, let's do this.
Yeah. And on that note, I think we have to close with that. You are watching BFD. Please connect with Holly Starr Allen. Thank you for being here, and we will catch you next time.